Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Raw on the Brad and Zach Show. I'm Brad.
And I'm Zach.
And this week we would like to give our raw opinions on the Boy Scouts of America. We know RAW stands for right after watching, and there's not really a whole lot to watch, quote unquote, on this, but it's still our raw opinions, and it's still technically right after we heard about it. But the Boy Scouts have come under fire recently for trying to be more gender inclusive and accepting girls into their organization. And pretty soon in 2019, they will be changing their name to be more gender inclusive. We just wanted to give our quick thoughts on that and kind of explain why we don't see that as a positive thing. We kind of see that as destructive towards little boys trying to become, strong, good men. So without further ado, let's get right on into that.
So I think my main issue comes back to the whole point and my basic belief that there are only two genders or two sexes, whatever you want to say, and that is male and female. And they are very different than one another, and that's exactly how God created them to be. And they're supposed to be different, and that's a good thing, and that's okay, and we're designed to be that way. But when you try to mix together young boys and young girls into the same group, which is what the Boy Scouts of America are doing, then you start to say that there really aren't any boundary lines there, that you start to blur those lines and say that they should be intermingled and treated as one and the same, when the laws of nature and the way that God himself made that says that there are differences, and you can't say there's not, because naturally there are. And the problems that arise begin to occur because just for example, you look at things that Girl Scouts do and the things that young girls learn on how to become women. Little boys don't really need to be learning that. And the things that young boys are doing, going out and going on camping trips or going out and learning survival skills, really they should only be learning as young boys, separated boys and girls. And in the classroom, in school, they're learning tons of things where you can intermingle young boys and young girls, and there are clubs and organizations where that's totally okay to do. But a lot of the point of Boy Scouts and a lot of the point of Girl Scouts is teaching them things that really, especially at that age, they should be learning as separate genders because they are different from one another. And that's been a lot of the beauty of teaching some of the Boy Scouts things that they learn and teaching a lot of the things that Girl Scouts learn. That's been the beauty behind it for years, is that they have, young boys and young girls have grown up in programs where they can learn those things. Apart from the differences or distractions of the different gender at that age. And like I said, when you try to blur those lines, a lot of issues come up. Just for example, if I was a father, I wouldn't want my young girl going on a camping trip with the Boy Scouts. And that's not saying I distrust anybody, it's just saying that especially at that age, there are such big differences between the two genders that you cannot try to intermingle them without there being issues. And that's really where my issues come from.
So my main problem with this is that it kind of feeds into the whole demasculinization of Western culture and American culture in particular. We're starting to hear the term toxic masculinity everywhere. It's the idea that being masculine is a bad thing. And now it's starting to reach down to our little boys. Our little boys need strong male role models who teach them how to be a man. And not a man that, goes and is all big and buff and everything, there's nothing wrong with that. But there's more to being a man than just being strong. You have to have good morals, a good character. And that's what you learn in the Boy Scouts. You learn, critical male skills like camping and, physical skills. But you also learn, I guess, the more characteristics of being a man. The parts about being, having a good character, and in turn being a good role model for your own children. And by the Boy Scouts, letting the Girl Scouts in, or not the Girl Scouts, but girls in general, just letting girls in, it's kind of downplaying the whole idea that, like Zach said, that boys are different than girls, and they need to be treated as such. We wouldn't dare force the Girl Scouts to include boys into their organization. We wouldn't dare in Western culture try and claim toxic femininity. That would be written off as very sexist and, misogynistic or whatever. But in reality, that's what's happening to boys. You know, that it's sexist to claim toxic masculinity and saying that, you know, it's not good to be a man, to be masculine. We would never even dream of saying that it's bad to be a woman or it's bad to be feminine. You know, that would be sexist. And it's sexist to say that towards men too, that, you know, being masculine is a bad thing. And our boys just need to learn, you know, apart from girls, that it's okay to be masculine. And they need that room to do that with other boys and with men who can teach them well. You know, if we you know, raise up a whole generation of boys who think that their masculinity is a bad thing, we're gonna lose a lot. We're gonna lose tough men who will stand up, you know, for rights, who will stand up for their families. You know, we're starting to see this more and more in crime. Without a father in the household, men are more likely to commit crimes, probably because they didn't have that strong male role model to teach them that crime is bad, or, you know, whatever it is. You know, it's just not there, and it's hurting the culture of males in America.
Hey YouTube, thanks so much for watching. We're super glad that you guys are watching these videos. Remember to check out our Twitter page at Brad and Zach Show and email us your comments and questions or anything really that you want to email us at wannnatalkpolitics@gmail.com. Remember to hit the thumbs up and like this video, share this video with someone, and always remember to subscribe. We'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much.